you're facing life without the possibility of parole, plus 220 years followed by 5 years.
YFN LUCCI kick his dead man's out of a Maybach truck that they just did a drive-by in. His man's got shot on the shoot back.
YFN LUCCI was out on bond in connection with the shooting death of a man.
I just want to let you know that I love you. I'm praying for you. I think about you every day. Miss you, and I can't wait to see you.
Somebody is laying out. Somebody, I don't know if he barely.
Let me connect you. Stay on the line.
Somebody just threw him out of the car.
Let me connect you to the ambulance.
Huh? He's still trying to fight for his life.
EMS, what's the address of the emergency?
Baby, can y'all please get an ambulance here? This man is dying. He's shot in the head. He just took his last breath, man.
What street are you on, ma'am? Can you give him your location, please, for the ambulance to give the guy some help?
What is his address? Man, this man just took his last breath, man.
Man, we have help on the way already. Tell me exactly what happened.
We don't know. Me and my sister, we were just walking down the street, and somebody just rolled down the street with a man hanging out the car. They just pushed him out the truck and left him for dead.
Ma'am, I thought you said he was shot in the head.
Yes, he is shot in the head. They threw him out the car. He just died. He just took his last breath.
We have the ambulance already on the way, okay?
Okay.
And can you tell me what color vehicle?
Listen, you go ahead and get fire and PD and
Can you tell me what color vehicle he was stolen from, please?
White.
A white car, truck, or SUV?
SUV.
What direction did the SUV
Yes,
go?
his whole body was just hanging out the car.
Listen, just stay on the phone. Can you tell me if you saw any of the people that were driving the car, whether they adults or kids?
They were driving real fast.
They just did a drive-by in. His man's got shot on the shoot back, and he did 5 years and came home. We seen that shit with our own eyes.
Yeah.
He had the old white Maybach in the trenches. They got into a shootout. His man's get shot in the car. They push his dead man's out the car, peel off. He do 4.5 and he's on his way home.
Yeah, he's on his
Yo, this shit is crazy. I need some fucking money. I need Brian Steele on the phone, and I need some fucking money. Brian Steele's Young Thug's lawyer, if y'all don't know. Bro, what just happened?
The state of Georgia getting their ass whooped.
Yo, this remind me of like Terrence Crawford and what was his name?
Oh yeah,
Errol Spence.
Yeah, Errol Spence.
We like, yo, it's gonna be a heavyweight fight.
Nah,
it's gonna be a good one. And then Terrence Crawford, YSL turned to Terrence Crawford and put on a fucking clinic and just started putting mittens on that fucking judge, the system. It is crazy to see this shit, bro. Like this, it went from all these niggas going to jail forever to all these niggas home.
Yeah.
All these niggas home.
Yeah, what's
these
going
niggas
on?
in the studio, they drinking lean. YSL Woody admitted to killing somebody. He on Vlad talking about it. He wearing bust downs. Yo, bro, am I bugging? I'm having a Mr. Krabs moment. Is it just me?
No, you're
I'm
not
having
bugging.
that Mr. Krabs. Everything's spinning like I know.
The state of
the
Georgia.
DA office gotta be like, yo, whoa, we just got spun.
Yeah,
they just got spun, y'all. I've never.
3. News broke that YFN LUCCI had been offered a plea deal from the prosecutors. They wanted LUCCI to plead guilty to felony murder, aggravated assault, racketeering, and violation of the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, and still give him a 20-year sentence. LUCCI would have had to serve 17 of the years behind bars before he could walk free, so he turned the deal down and decided to take the trial instead. Taking a RICO and murder case to trial is a risky move. You never know what's going to go down in the courtroom, and you couldn't end up serving the rest of your life behind bars. But LUCCI definitely made the right move in this situation. Half a year after they offered him the first deal, the DA came back with another offer. LUCCI pleaded guilty to one charge for violating the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, and in exchange, all his other charges got dropped. LUCCI still got hit with a 10-year prison sentence and 10 years of probation after he serves the time, but LUCCI could be out of there in just a few months.
Among a dozen others indicted on racketeering charges as part of a massive gang crackdown. And that is our top story. Police say the charges are all related to the Bloods gang activity spanning over a decade. Joe Ripley live in Atlanta for us this morning. And Joe, YFN LUCCI is the big name here. Walk us through the allegations.
Oh yeah, known among several radio stations, DJs, concert goers around the Atlanta area. Rayshawn Bennett, who goes by the stage name YFN LUCCI, back in December, and now he will be ordered back to jail as part of the gang sting. The GBI formed a gang task force in 2019 focused on prosecuting gang members under state anti-gang laws. So that actually helped the Fulton County District Attorney's Office land this indictment, 75 pages, 105 counts in total, all against 12 men allegedly associated with the Bloods gang in Atlanta and Miami.
You're facing life without the possibility of parole, plus 220 years followed by 5 years consecutive. Do you understand that that's what you were initially charged with in the indictment?
Yes.
How old are you?
32.
Are you able to read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you're charged with the following offenses? Count 77, felony murder. That's minimum life, maximum life without the possibility of parole. Count 1, violation of the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organization Act. Count 76, violation of the Street Gang Act. Minimum 5 years, maximum 20 years. Count 78, aggravated assault. That's minimum 1 year, maximum 20 years. Count 80, aggravated assault. Count 81, aggravated assault. The minimum's 1 year, maximum 20 years. Count 82, aggravated assault. Count 83, possession of a firearm during commission of a felony. That's 5 years consecutive. The minimum is life with the possibility of parole. Is it your decision to waive these rights and enter a guilty plea because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
How do you plead to count 69 in indictment 23 SC 188921?
Guilty.
Your Honor, had this case gone to trial, the state would have shown that on December 10th, 2020, this defendant, Mr. Bennett, was gifted a 2021 Mercedes-Benz Maybach by his record label. The defendant drove that vehicle and picked up his co-defendants, Rayvon Boyd, Leroy Pitts, and the decedent, James Adams. Boyd, Pitts, and Adams traveled up from Miami, but were visiting the defendant, Mr. Bennett, in Atlanta. The defendant then drove around the city of Atlanta in that vehicle. Although Bennett himself did not personally possess a firearm, he was aware that there were firearms in the vehicle, to include 2 assault rifles. At some point, defendant Bennett drove to the area of Dimmick and People Street, located in Fulton County. While traveling down Dimmick Street, after passing several individuals who were standing on the street, this defendant stopped his vehicle. The individuals on the street and the individuals in the inside of his vehicle began shooting at each other. This shooting is captured on surveillance video, and the video reflects that after defendant Bennett stopped his vehicle, co-defendants Boyd and the decedent Adams opened the door to the car and began firing assault rifles at Kevin Wright, Nathan Bedford, and others that were on the street at the time. The video shows Nathan Bedford and Kevin Wright and others shooting back at the vehicle. During the exchange of gunfire, the decedent James Adams sustained a gunshot wound to his torso that caused his death. After shots were fired, defendant Bennett drove off in the Maybach, which then turned onto People Street. The individuals in the vehicle attempted to pull decedent Adams' body back into the vehicle, but were unsuccessful. As a result, they left his body on People Street and left the scene. After leaving the scene, he drove the vehicle to his father's house to conceal the vehicle following the shooting. The facts and evidence would further establish that defendant Bennett is an associate of the Bloods, a criminal street gang operating here in Atlanta and elsewhere. Defendant Bennett demonstrated his association in part by appearing in rap videos with members of the Bloods while displaying gang signs and wearing gang colors. The basis of the state's reduction, Judge, is essentially this defendant has no criminal history. We have spoken with the family in this particular case, and they have maintained throughout the course since this incident occurred that they are on board with the recommendation. They are more than amenable to the defendant's request at this point. And they have also, as you are aware from the facts is the defendant's level of culpability in this particular incident. He was the driver of the vehicle, and he didn't have a weapon during the time of this incident. And this is out of the 80-something counts in the indictment, Judge, this is the one incident that this particular defendant is a part of. So given those things, we did take that into consideration, and that's the recommendation that we are presenting before the court.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Christian.
Is still going through his case. He ends up accepting a plea bargain where he was sentenced to 10 years and 10 years probation, but they give him time served and they cut it down and so forth. But the whole time, you know, he gets stabbed allegedly by YSL people. We don't know for sure, but there's obviously a beef with Young Thug and YSL. Nut was obviously his good friend. There's been a lot of back and forth. But during this whole time, Lucci refused to cooperate against Young Thug, which could have potentially given him time served and let him free.
Right. I just feel like he did what he supposed to did, bro. You did what you supposed to did, and it's kind of sad on our behalf because it's like, dang, these supposed to be the people, these supposed to be the ops. Boys ain't saying nothing. Folk could have really went the whole other way with it.
Well, if you think about it, Lucci said a lot less than a bunch of YSL dudes.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's exactly what I'm
he
saying.
He said nothing. And he really, DA really wanted Young Thug.
Rapper YFN LUCCI is officially out of prison. After nearly 3 years behind bars, the rapper, whose real name is Rayshawn Bennett, was released this morning.
Yeah, I know what day Lucci getting released. I can't tell y'all. Talked to his mama last night.
He was locked up in May 2021 on RICO charges, but last January he took a plea deal admitting to one count under Georgia's Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act.
Atlanta rapper YFN LUCCI was sentenced to 10 years in prison.
He was sentenced to 20 years in prison with 10 to serve, but clearly he didn't have to do all that time.
He is one of a dozen men indicted on racketeering and RICO charges back in 2021. The group's charges are related to alleged involvement with the Bloods street gang. According to court documents, prosecutors could write a letter to the parole board recommending release when eligible, but records show he has been in jail for nearly 3 years.
The rapper YFN LUCCI is out of a Georgia prison. Now, his record label released this picture right here of him being reunited with his family. The Department of Corrections confirms that he's no longer in their custody. The rapper, whose given name is Rayshawn Bennett, was indicted in 2021 on several charges, including murder. His arrest was part of an effort targeting alleged members of the Bloods gang. He pleaded guilty last January to violating Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. All other charges were dropped.
I think about you every day, miss you, and I can't wait to see you.
I'ma give you my heart, don't break it. Man, you girl, that's amazing.